Zephyr Energy. Colin, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, nice to see you, Catherine. Sorry, it's been a while.
Yes, it has. And it's already been an exciting start to the year for you. Today, you announced a significant equity raise. Can you give us a little bit more information on where you expect to utilize the proceeds?
Sure, and you're right. It's been busy times. There's been a lot going on in the background, as people can tell. But I'm just thrilled that we've gotten to this place. So the equity raise that we've announced today, it's with a great set of new and existing investors, really good institutional support. And that, combined with the senior debt facility on highly attractive terms, gets us to a place where we can close our acquisition of about 200 wells and future well development in the Sanish field in the Williston Basin. So this is the acquisition we announced last November. It's a highly economic acquisition, particularly with strengthening prices here. It will more than triple our current production in our non-op portfolio. And in terms of cash flows, which is what we're all focused on, even if you look at the dilution today that we've taken to get the equity deal done in a tough market, it's going to almost triple our cash flow per share for investors. So highly accretive acquisition. It'll throw off roughly $24 million in free cash flow next year. So we're very excited about what it can do for us. And that's the whole key here, because we have significant plans, as you know, to grow our Paradox Basin position, to really accelerate the development there. And a significant portion of the cash flow generated over the rest of this year will go into, again, accelerating and putting together a high impact development program of 3 additional wells that we'll be drilling in the second half of this year. The proceeds will also allow us to tie in the 16-2 well, which has been drilled and very successfully tested, and it'll allow us to bring a number of Williston wells on as well. And then lastly, I think as we've talked about before, we are investigating tying in some early gas sales to a crypto facility in co-located on the state 16-2 mine, and this allows us to progress with those plans too. So in all, it's very exciting. Just in looking at current prices versus where we were when we negotiated this deal, we'll now be able to lock in almost 60 million of proved, developed, producing revenues at PV10, which is a really nice underpinnings for the rest of the business. So we think we'll be in a good position to hedge that production out, ensure funding certainty for the Paradox program, and get started with our next phase of impact drilling there. So it does quite a bit for us, and we're very excited about how we're now positioned for the rest of the year.
Thank you, Colin. Now, I know you considered multiple options for financing this acquisition. What made you choose on the route that you went with?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a whirlwind, as you can imagine. We announced this potential acquisition about 2 weeks before the world learned the word Omicron. And in December, the financial markets obviously were incredibly volatile, as were the commodity markets. So our initial plan here was to fund this using 100% stretch debt. And that market changed wildly over the last few months. So in terms of financing the whole package, it became increasingly expensive, and with some constraints that actually, to the board here, were detrimental in going that route versus what we could see like the route that we've gone down today. And this is really important. At the same time that the financial markets have been so volatile, commodity prices, particularly this month, have really rebounded nicely. And it's allowed us to take out a facility with a commercial bank on highly attractive terms, 6.74% fixed rates. About 2/3 of the debt will be amortized over the next 4 years, and the rest is floating. It's a really attractive package, and it boosts the equity returns that we will get from the acquisition quite significantly. So in terms of giving us the flexibility and the cash flow and the accretive nature of the returns here, it allows us to earn a high multiple on our money while we're planning for the next drilling in the Paradox, and then to fund that with certainty through this low risk production and good hedging. So in all, we're really well positioned, and I know there have been some twists and turns, but I'm very excited that we've come out in this place.
Congratulations on getting this done in such challenging times.
Thank you.
And finally, Colin, what can shareholders expect over the next few months?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit that is coming down the pike. First of all, we'll be releasing our existing non-operated production for last quarter in the near term. So we'll be able to share the continued growth there with investors. Really importantly, we have the competent persons report that's being prepared on the paradox position, which will be released sometime mid to end February is when we expect it. And given the success of the State 16-2 well and the first successful application of hydraulic stimulation and a horizontal well in the Paradox Basin, what we've seen there with permeabilities and pressures that rival other Great Basins in the US, we think we're really excited to have a report that will detail the future value and the future upside. And that shall be coming up shortly. We have a series of other wells coming on in our non-operated portfolio, and we have a lot of work to do both to tie in the existing State 16-2 well and also to prepare for the next phase of drilling. So quite a bit will be coming up, but the most important thing is once we close this acquisition, which we're now funded to do, we will have a significant amount of resources to grow the Paradox, not just through this year, but in a success case to really, really accelerate in the coming two. So we're very excited about it and looking forward to the next steps.
Exciting times. Colin, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Catherine. Good to see you.
And thank you for watching Flagstaff TV.